Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Apex Racing TV for the Operation Motorsport iRacing League. It is the third from last race of the season, round number 7, and it is going to be a fantastic race here at Road America. The stage is set and the scene is beautiful for these drivers around this fantastic circuit here in the USA. I'm Matthew Duffy, bringing you all the action live for tonight's GT3 race around this beautiful circuit. Jonathan will be in the production seats bringing you all the live action and the replays that will be on your screen for you to see. 4 categories once again: the open category, the bend category, the pro category and the pro bend category out there on the track tonight as we are on the outlap for qualifying drivers. Just going to try and find a bit of space or maybe tussle over a piece of tarmac in this qualifying session. You can see here it is a long lap around this Road America circuit. It is one of the 4 Mustangs in that pro category just wanting to get on with it and putting a couple of moves on cars already here in qualifying. So interesting to see the battle for track position as they come in towards the carousel here. But it's going to be a fascinating qualifying tonight. It's just over 2 minutes a lap, so you really only have a handful of laps to get going, and this outlap has already nearly taken us 2 minutes to get these cars to where they are. There's a car off on the exit of the carousel. This is Tyler Manning allowing these cars behind him to go, just to maybe try and find himself a bit of space in that open category, running in the McLaren 720S Evo as they come now down towards Canada corner on this outlap. You can see 2 minutes 13 already gone on the clock, and I don't believe anybody as yet has started a flying lap. Maybe 1 or 2 drivers, but this is going to be an interesting one to start. Greg Meismer has started a flying lap, so has the car in front of him, and this is going to be a fascinating qualifying session here, because unlike other tracks where you can get 6, maybe 7 laps in at a push, you're possibly only going to get the 3 or 4 laps in, depending on if you return back to the pits, put on a fresh set of boots and go again. By boots, obviously I mean tyres. This is going to be an interesting one though. The open category, you can tell on the cars, the sun visor, if you will, on the window visor on the screen, on their windscreen will be red. The bends will be green, the pros are blue, and the pro bends is the purple coloured visor there, as you can see with Greg Meismer's Porsche as he comes through, down through turn 5, up the hill into one of the hardest corners on this circuit. You kind of brake as you approach the tip of the hill. And then you get into this lovely middle section Here you go through the right-hander, downhill again in towards this left-hand bend. Nice and easy on the power as you exit the corner. Easy to just drop a wheel and go wide into the gravel. This is the carousel then. Very much a hurry up and wait corner. You see there on the power, off the power. You just see the little lights on his dashboard there, just showing you how much he's on and off really. And now he gets onto the throttle as he powers out of the corner. Good lap so far from Greg Meismer. Looks nice and tidy. Obviously he's fighting Tyler Gilmette in that Pro Ben category. And it's going to be an interesting qualifying to see what these drivers can do on this circuit then. With such a small qualifying here. Ken Copeland though. Not used to seeing him make a mistake or two. Well, he's dropped the car. That is coming through turn 6, I do believe. And he's dropped the car there. That'll be that lap out the window. And possibly the tyres a little overheated. He'll have to get them cooled down. Maybe even a little bit scrubbed. As they've taken a slide, you can see him there just now weaving once again, maybe getting some more temperature in the tyres. Maybe it was too cold as he was coming through on his first flying lap. But interesting to see him make a mistake. He's never really made one at the moment. Martin Bob Wallace has gone quickest. No, Gene Kelly now has in the pro category. Jacob Little with a 2:05.4 in open. Ian Carney looking for another race win today. He's gone P1 at the moment. A very small amount of qualifiers have done a flying lap. This is on board with G. McCall in the pro category. Goes to the top of the timing screens by 0.3 of a second in that pro category. Gilmette and at the top of that one as well. There's a few more lap times starting to come in now. Only one driver that I can see is not yet out there on the circuit. That is Anthony Calvi in terms of being there for qualifying. This is on board with that of Jacob Little, current provisional pole sitter in that open category with a 2:05.4. As we're seeing a couple of 2:03s going there. Rob Schwenkler a little off the pace. He's 0.3 off the back of McLaughlin in that pro category. And we are halfway through qualifying, so it leads us now on perfectly to give a massive thank you and a massive shout out once again to our fantastic sponsors and to our organisers for Season 10 of Operation Motorsport Esports iRacing League. We are beyond excited to kick off another incredible year of racing. And this season we've got something very special. New for 2025. We are proud to announce that Operation Motorsport beneficiaries racing in the Pro Beneficiary and the Beneficiary categories now have access to the virtual coaching using Trophy.ai services. This partnership is designed to help these incredible competitors refine their skills and become even more competitive on the track, all while boosting their confidence of it. This initiative supports eMotorsport Divisionary Therapy Program, which creates a thriving supporting community for medically released service members, medically retired service members, and veterans with a service-connected disability, or as recognised by the US Department of Veteran Affairs or Veteran Affairs Canada. It's a space where participants ranging from active duty to veterans can come together, train and race in an inclusive virtual environment. This season we have 15 Operation Motorsport beneficiaries competing, and we couldn't be prouder to have them on the grid. Let's show them some love as they continue to break barriers and redefine what is possible in the world of eMotorsport. Thank you for your continued support from our partners CrowdStrike and Michelin, and of course Trophy.ai. As we head into then the final 3 weeks of the season, it is an interesting couple of tracks left to go. As we go from here into Canada, McLaughlin still quickest in the Pro, I'm just noting, as times are changing up and around. But we go from here to Canada and then back down to Virginia to end the season. 3 weeks left of this fantastic championship this season, and what a season it has been for these guys out there on the circuit. They really have put on some fantastic racing from way back at Daytona 7 weeks ago. It's been a real joy to bring all the action on this series at the moment, as we are looking at where is Ken Copeland set a time at a 2:04. Well, he's a bit off the pace at the moment. We're on board though with Tyler Manning, who was the open category pole sitter. We are on with Ken Copeland now, and he's down a bit at the moment at 2:04.5. He's just under a tenth behind Martin Wallace then. And he's 4/10 off the back of Rodney Campbell. He's half a second off the back of Gene Kelly. Half a second off the back of Rob Schwenkler. And then he's a good 0.8 of a second off the back of McLaughlin. And we've seen Copeland really dominate. But that first race at Daytona, I don't think he was in it. And we saw Colby Hull take the race win. He's been pretty dominant since as Copeland, and looking to make it another race win tonight. We know he said last week that he's entering in another series in this Mercedes-Benz. So he's trying to learn the characteristics, and he bails on what will be his final lap in qualifying. So he's going to have to do it the hard way. At the moment, Tyler Gilmet is only 700ths of a second quicker than Greg Miser in the Pro Ben category. Ian Carney is literally 9/10 of a... I say literally, sorry, it's bigger than I actually read. It's 9/10 of a second gap there. But Tanner Masters is still out there on a lap at the moment. Here is Tanner Masters trying to finish this lap. May get one more in as well. So we'll keep our eyes there on that one. And Tyler Manning, you just see on the bottom of your screen there, he's gone purple, purple, green, yellow, yellow. He could be on for an improvement here coming towards the final couple of metres before the start line. And did he improve? No. Yes, he did. He did. Slight improvement there. And that puts him back up to the top of the open category there then by some 0.8 of a second. He's got a good gap there. And if I'm correct, it was Tyler Manning last week who put the cat amongst the pigeons and led the race outright for a certain period of it. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do around this circuit so far. So drivers on their final laps, or starting their final laps of this qualifying session. Then there's Tanner Masters. He's now coming towards the line in that last little period. What is he going to do? He comes across the line now, and we just await for the timing screen to update. It does improve, but he's now 9/10 of a second off the back of Ian Carney, and he'll be done. That is his qualifying over and done with. So he's got a bit of work to do to try and find a bit more pace in this session. This is on board with your pro current pole sitter at the moment of Gene McClawn. Rob Schwenkler's coming towards the end of his lap at the moment. You can see there all yellows down on his personal best. Green is obviously personal best, purple is session best, and the yellow is no improvement, and he comes towards the line, and I don't think sets an improvement there. A 2:04.0 from Schwenkler is what he's currently on. He's trying to improve on that. I don't think he's going to, unless he's lost 0.3 of a second in that final sector, and no improvement there for Schwenkler as he comes across the line. This is back towards Shelton, P8, in that open category at the moment. What do you need at the moment? A lot of open category drivers not set a lap time there, but he only needs 2/10. He'll put him ahead of Dustin Wells in P6. About 0.8, 0.6 of a second will put him up into that top 5. What's he going to do as he comes towards the line? 2 personal bests in the middle of the lap, and he comes across the line and improves a little bit, and improves to find just under that 0.6 that he needed. He goes into P6, nearly broke into the top 5 there then. 2 drivers left on the lap. Schwenkler is one, looking to find 0.4 of a second because McClawn went quicker yet again. Brandon Matteo, 12th in the Acura. He's about to finish his qualifying. Towards the line he's going to come. And this is still with Schwenkler. Kyle Shelton is still on a lap as well. And Brandon Matteo completes his lap and goes P9 in class at the moment. Shelton, I don't know if he's already finished, and that's just came up saying his name. But it is Schwenkler and Shelton, the only 2 cars left on circuit. And down in towards Canada corner comes Schwenkler now in the Acura. 2nd place overall at the moment in the pro category. He had that 1 sector of a personal best. Now, has he got enough to just find 0.4 of a second? He's gone session best there. So the Acura now starting to turn it on as he just drops a wheel in the gravel. That'll lose a bit of momentum possibly as he climbs up the hill. And what will it be? Has he just pushed a little too hard through the final corner? The checkered flies for him. And he crosses the line. We wait for the updated lap time, or the last lap time that he's done. I don't think it's an improvement. I think we'd have seen it by now. It may have invalidated as he dropped a wheel into the gravel. So session best, a personal best on that lap, but not enough to take the pole position. And that then is qualifying for the 7th race round of the season. Done and dusted. And we will bring you the full classification of the grid order when we get it. And here we go. It is Gene McClawn P1 overall from Rob Schwenk, Eugene Kelly. P2, Rodney Campbell, 4th place. Tyler Manning, pole position in the open class, but he's P5 overall, Martin Wallace. P6, Tyler Gilmet, the Pro Ben poles hitter. He's P7 with Ken Copeland all the way down in 8th. P9 then for Greg Meismer, 2nd place in the Pro Ben. Ben pole position is Ian Carney. Tyler Reid is 11th place with Tanner Masters 12th. Rui Farina P13, Jacob Little 14th. Brandon Leonard P15 and 16th place for Kyle Shelton. 17th for Peter McDade with Dustin Wells P18. Billy Owl in 19th place. Richard Davenport P20. 21st for John Hicks, 22nd for Chandler Baker, Brandon Matteo 23rd and John Salader in 24th. 25th place for Anthony Calvi, 26th Nolan Nuke, Charles Boschel in 27th, Dan Fendick 28th and Christopher Puglis in 29th. That rounds out your grid order then, and that is going to be what we will see. Yeah, and look how compact it is on this start grid here at Road America. Not really. You could put your arms out the windows and shake each other's hands. You are that close on the starting grid, and it's real tight up the start line. This is going to be an interesting start of the race, to say the least. But we've got the formation lap, which will just take a moment or two, bearing in mind that it is a 2-minute lap as it is on, race pace. Never mind with the formation lap out, so it's going to be a little bit longer than that as they come through them. And this is going to be an interesting one, to say the least, with what we've got on display here. Road America, beautiful circuit, really good track as you come here in towards turn 1. And then you've kind of got turn 2, and I was doing a broadcast on Tuesday evening in GT4s, and this is turn 2 here, this little kink. Yeah, we don't name them kind of corners as corners in the UK, so turn 2 is there. That's turn 3. That was throwing me off, and my co-commentator kept saying that this is turn 3 and you head down towards turn 5, because that little bend there is turn 4. So we've got to keep up to date with each other here. That's turn 2, turn 4. You come down to the next proper corner, as I'd like to call it. That'll be turn 5 at the bottom of this hill. Great overtaking opportunity. Also easy to run deep and make a mistake or two. And that could catch a driver or two out easily down here. So easy done, just to be late on the brakes and miss your braking by a mile. And just 1, go straight on at the corner, and 2, just completely miss the apex of it as you try to make a move or whatever it may be, even defending into the corner. This one though, turn 6, what a tricky section, because you brake sort of on that shadow of the bridge just as you get to the brow of the hill. Easy to run wide, drop a wheel off and maybe light the rear up and go off the track yourself, and so easy to do around there. Into 7, nice easy right-hander. You come downhill once again, and it's very easy to just run deep here at turn 8 before you come into them what is 9 and 10, but the carousel. And it really is a tricky corner to get right, because you kind of come in here with, you apply a bit of throttle here, and as you're coming round you then have to lift off and just wait, and then sort of power slowly down now out the corner and get a good run down towards turn 11, which is called the kink. And again, another tricky corner, because you've just powered out the carousel. You're going as quick as you can down towards the kink. But it is a corner that requires a lot of bravery, possibly a slight lift through here, because if you get it wrong, you're in that wall on the grass at least, coming down towards the Canada corner at turn 12. And again, good run through this section into Canada corner. You can easily look to make a move up the inside. Could easily be done. It's going to be fascinating to see what will happen. But again, watch that exit, because you can run wide, drop a wheel into the gravel, and off you go. And that could spell the end of your race as well there. And then you come through this. This is turn 13. The penultimate corner before you get to 14. And as we saw with Schwenkler, maybe just dropped a wheel onto the grass on the exit of the corner. Very easy to do as you come out wide here. But it's all important to get a good exit out that corner because it will propel you up this start straight, especially if you have a slipstream. But that's the track done. The lights come on the screen. We're about to go racing. The safety car has peeled off into the pit lane. And for round 7 of the season here at Operation Motorsport, the lights are on and we are green and go here at Road America. And it's an equal start between McLaren and Schwenkler in the Acura and the Porsche coming down the start-finish straight. There's Manning trying to look past a couple of cars further forward. Wearing all of that is Copeland. He sat patiently there. Look at the BMW just behind. Not seen much in the BMW then of Rodney Campbell. He's in the fight here for the lead with McLaren and Schwenkler. 1, 2, 3 is Campbell then in the BMW. In towards turn 3 now, and it's the Porsche who's came out on top through the opening section of this lap. Now, using that slipstream, there's a spinner in the background. We'll try and find out who that was a little later on. Using that slipstream, the Acura just losing on the straight line speed of the Porsche. The BMW will be a bit quicker in a straight line than the pair of them, especially in the slipstream, into the heavy braking zone of turn 5. And you just see there that the Porsche and McLaren was a little bit defensive coming into turn 5. Now, up the brow of the hill, turn 6, managed to get this right because this will absolutely hurt you if you don't. Copeland's got past Wallace and Kelly further down the order. There he is, sat P4, look. And I believe Manning's lost the lead, or is fighting for the lead with a little. So Manning has had a moment. He's dropped down the packs. He was ahead of Copeland on the circuit, so I'm not sure what's happened to him and the 2 Porsches. Maybe we can get the instance of what happened in the replay. Brandon Leonard was the driver who was having a few problems. So this is this is through turn 2 now into turn 3. And Brandon Leonard, the Red Bull liveried Acura, and he's lost it on his own on the curb. So it's his own mistake on the curb, and I'm going to guess he just had a bit too much wheel over the curb that's kind of pulled him in. Here's Manning then. This is down to turn 5. These are the 2. This is the Porsche just in front. In fact, it's the red Porsche as well. Late on the brakes, lock up, bang into the Porsche. Spins around, half kind of spin. Manages to catch it, and Ken Copeland up the inside at the hardest corner on the track and passes 2 of them. Yeah, and that's what we said about turn 5 on that formation lap. Very difficult corner to get absolute right, and it is a nasty, nasty corner, and that is what will happen because it will absolutely hurt you if you go straight on there, and that is exactly what has happened to Tyler Manning, who missed his brakes a little bit. Schwenkler now trying to stay on the back of McLaren, and Campbell as well is looking to stick with them as they come through this next part of the circuit then. Wallace is in the pit lane. We believe he's been off the road. We'll try and get the replay for you. And come through. Just not caught it. You just saw him just get on the grass a little bit through through the kink. And that's what we were saying. That's where it'll really, really hurt you through that section of the circuit. And then he just couldn't catch the slide. And into the wall he went. This is back down with Greg Meismer. Oh, nearly gathered one in the rear there from Ian Carney. Barely see Ian Carney make a mistake. And he's nearly ploughed into the rear of Meismer there then. As this is on board with Carney, who's now going to lose out to that of Little. Might even lose out to Tanner Masters then coming in towards the carousel. Tanner Masters couldn't get past there. And Jacob Little manages to get through on Ian Carney there then after his little mistake at turn 5. Who's actually behind Masters? That is Rui Farina having a look, who is P3 in the race at the moment in that open category then. But it's on board with Farina in that Ferrari, currently P3 as we said in category. He's having a good showing here at the moment. He's not too bad as he runs wide out the carousel, manages to keep it all together. That's not where it's going to hurt you. It's this section where it's going to hurt you through the kink. You've got to be brave through there. Look at the Ford Mustang of Reed behind him. Really gathered some momentum through the kink down towards Canada corner. That Mustang just has a bit of grunt in a straight line. Closing under the braking. A little wide of the apex at Canada corner. Not going to hurt the Mustang too much there, but you just saw that the Ferrari managed to power out of it a little bit quicker than the Ford Mustang behind. So good job from the Ferrari driver of Rui Farina. This is Shelton down in P6. He's having a fight with Chandler Baker in the Bend category, the Mustang versus the Porsche. And there's gravel being kicked up everywhere as drivers just run off the road. a little bit on that final corner. And here's Shelton then, as Baker goes to that inside line, covers the inside of turn 1. Can go around the outside, got to give him the space, does give him the space. Bit of run off there to use, manages to use it. And well done from Baker in the Porsche. He stays ahead for the time being. He runs a little wide though out of 3. And now this Ford Mustang power, this could be what it needs. Down the straight, bit of slipstream from Baker in front. And for Shelton, will he pull out and have a look into turn 5? Baker goes defensive, Shelton's going to go the long way around. Baker comes back in on him. Shelton avoids the back, manages to take the outside line, can't get the move done. Who's this now coming at him at the moment? This is Corby coming at him. Sorry, not Billy Hull, sorry. Who was coming at him there, couldn't make the move done. And Nolan Hughes watching in there, waiting and watching at the moment for any incidents that may happen. Out front though, looking at McLaughlin, he's opened that gap to a second to Schwenkler, who's still got Campbell putting him under pressure at the moment. There's Copeland, not got an answer to the front 3 at all. Interesting to see around here at the moment. Is Greg Meisman. He's on the back of Tyler Manning here. Manning, who had that moment down at turn 5 a couple of laps ago, is coming in towards Canada corner now, as Campbell's got past Schwenkler for second place. So wasn't overly close to him a little earlier on. These two have just dipped a wheel into the gravel, but Schwenkler now has lost out to Campbell. The Acura just struggling a little bit earlier stage of the race. This is how it happened then. So they're coming down towards Canada corner. BMW gets on the brakes, follows each other through. Schwenkler, dipped a wheel in the gravel. You saw the rear of the car there go very, very light on the Acura. And normally the Acura strength is the cornering and the handling on that car, but there, the rear was just all over the place, and that allows Schwenkler to capitalise. Now look at Ken Copeland. He has quickly devoured that gap and has got onto the back of these two already. A great fight in all the categories at the moment. Davenport's on the back of McDade. Farina's just got past Reed, but have both lost out to Wells. And Shelton's now got past Reed. So what is happening back down the pack here? Look at these Mustangs everywhere at the moment. The Lamborghini of Wells has moved up to P3, but has got that of Farina still close to the back of him. There they are a little further front, with that of Baker still ahead then of Farina. And there you can see Wells in the white and gold Lamborghini. But look at these Mustangs, 1, 2, 3, 4 with an Acura, a BMW, all in this pack as well. And this is Reed on that of Kyle Shelton up the inside. There you go, and lovely move from Reed. The BMW tries to go around the outside of the Mustang. There is, I believe, a Mercedes-Benz coming up the inside. I think is that Calvi, who is in that fight, as well as Billy Hull and Nolan Hughes in there as well. And here is Calvi then in that Mercedes-Benz. He's got Matteo on the back of him in that bright yellow Acura. And I believe Nolan Hughes is the BMW in all of that, and he's looking now on the back of Billy Hull, but there is cars everywhere. And look further forward, you can see on board the Mercedes. That is the third place man, Wells, who has gone wide at the carousel, and into the gravel trap he goes. Rejoins, not quite yet, but he's got to rejoin safely as there's cars around him. There's the Porsche. Wells rejoins now, nice and safely from Wells. But what happened to him there that forced him very, very wide? This is on board with Shelton and Reed, who are still now fighting with that of Farina down in towards Canada corner. Shelton's gone a little bit wide. That'll open the door for Reed in towards the penultimate corner of turn 13 here. This is absolutely fantastic stuff down the pack, and Reed around the outside of Shelton. Great move from the Ford Mustang driver, and it is all action down the back of the pack here in this open category at Road America then. What an absolute fight. This is what happened to Wells. Still action on the tracks. We side by side now with the Porsche of Baker, I do believe. Slight bit of contact there. That's forced the Lamborghini wide and offline, and he's just carried the speed through. And he probably should have lifted off to get the car to turn in a little bit more, but Wells there in the gravel, and that's ruined his podium chance at the moment. But if we still look in the background, look at that. That is all in there, as well as on the Mercedes of Calvi. Just a bit further back. They're all still side by side. That's a car rejoining further forward ahead of that. There's Billy Hull on the grass now, and that is going to allow Matteo, who's got past Billy Hull. Calvi's got past Billy Hull now. There's going to be a couple of the Ben category drivers who are going to get past, and I'm not sure who the driver was off in front. There it is, the yellow Ford Mustangers. That is Peter McDade who is off, and that's going to allow Chandler Baker up into P4. Rui Farina tried to go through the middle. Farina's now got Tyler Reid on the back of him, and no matter which way you look, there's action here at Road America. We're only 10 minutes into the 45-minute race. There's still 35 minutes left to go, and there's dramas all over as Baker's now onto the grass, and this could allow that of McDade to have a look back around the outside in towards the left-hand bend. Farina is just giving it a watching brief at the moment. Now does McDade have a nose up the inside of Baker. In towards the carousel, he did! And Baker comes across the front of the Ford Mustang and loses the rear of the car, puts it all back together. He's now on the grass on the outside, and that's allowed McDade to get through, and then the three open category cars of Farina, Reid and Shelton in towards the kink now. But you have to say for Baker there, all on him. He came across the nose of the Ford Mustang. He's still struggling in the background now at the moment, is Baker. To whoever it is, I think it is... that's Calvi, who is the Mercedes-Benz. We'll try and get a replay of what's happened there as Farina drops a wheel into the gravel. But it is so much drama here at Road America. There's battles every way you look. And this is what happened then. This is helicopter view. So they come through the right-hand bend and they're going to drop down. You see already the Porsche's gone a little wide and off circuit. That's cost him momentum. Now the Ford Mustang hangs it brave around the outside. Still just has, look, that nose up the inside, and as the Porsche comes in, the Mustang's still there. Farina nearly chucked it in the grass himself, and maybe nearly into the wall as he tried to avoid the Porsche there. Hangs on to it very well, but dramas then in this race, and this is the battle for second place. McLaren's got 2 seconds in the lead. Copeland's not been able to pass Schwenkler, who's stuck to the back of Campbell at the moment, but they can't stick with McLaren. The Porsche looks a good car choice around this circuit, and it's nice to see the BMW up there for a change as well. We've not seen the best of the BMW, I fear, this season. He's in a fight with Ken Copeland and that of Schwenkler, who are giving it their absolute all as well. Absolutely flying around the circuit. This is for second, third and fourth, not just in pro but overall in the race. So this is how good this has been at the moment. It's been fantastic battles around this Road America track, and there's still that fight between Farina, Reid and Shelton down the order as well. We're going to bring you some of that action now, and here we are then. So there's Farina in the gold and white Ferrari, Reid in the blue, white and red Ford Mustang. This is Shelton in the green and grey Ford Mustang. All just line of stern at the moment, just behind, just in front of these is Richard Davenport and Peter McDade. They're having their own little fight in the open category. That is also for the final podium spot. As we can see here, look, Reid's got a heck of a run on Farina through there. Whoa, I think that was Baker in the background, nearly lost it coming through the kink once again. And here goes Reid then looking up the inside of Farina, not close enough, gives him a tap, contact made from Reid and Farina. And Reid slow to rejoin. I think he's possibly waiting for that. More contact in the background, and that is Calvi into the back of a BMW of Nolan Uke, I believe that is, who has pulled up, and that could be, it is, that is a retirement. And we can have a look at the Calvi incident. Work cut out for Jonathan today in the production seat. He's got a lot of replays to bring. Oh, he's came from such a way back. Has there been a problem for the BMW? Oh, the BMW clipped Farina, which then caught Calvi. I'm wondering, Jonathan, if we could see that again from an onboard shot, let's say, of Calvi's car, if possible. I'd quite like to see what he sees of that, as that looked like it was a late move. Was Farina still moving? So there we go. Look, there's the gap. Calvi's not close enough at the moment. Great move around the outside of the Porsche. There's Farina spinning around, and bang, bang. Nothing either of them could have done there. Farina should have just held his brakes to become a bit more predictable. We're going to try and get a helicopter shot, chopper shot of Farina. So let's have a look then. So this is the incident between Farina. So Reid up the inside, not on to make the move, spins him round. Farina on the power, and then as he gets on the power, look, just drops the rear round, and that BMW and Mercedes-Benz was helpless there, nowhere to go but into the back of the Ferrari driver there. And that has put to bed what was a fantastic scrap in this race. And that is all off the circuit, and that allows Wells through. Leonard's up to P4. anything can happen around here at Road America. So Rui Farina is, I believe, out of this race. Calvi, he's not moving either. Nolan Uke, nothing. Salada is also, I believe, out of this race. Them 4 haven't got moving yet, so they're still in the pit lane or they're not moving at the moment. But yeah, interesting to see. Copeland has got past Schwenkler, being told by Jonathan in our ear. So we're going to try and get a replay and a bit of action as that. So not sure where that happened. He's on the back, giving some pressure to the back of Campbell. And he's going to then hope if he can get past, we'll see if he can hunt down after McLaughlin. This is how he got past Schwenkler. And so Schwenkler struggling in that Acura. This is going to be a battle of power in which the Acura lacks over that Mercedes AMG down into turn 5. It powers alongside him on the brakes, up the inside. It's just a great move, isn't it? He's proper racing that up the inside. Lovely move from Copeland. They do run as the same team, so I wonder if they kind of obviously there's no teams in this series, but they are under the same sort of team stable, if you will. So you just kind of wonder how hard they're going to fight each other in terms of overtakes when they come around. Will it be overly aggressive from them or not? And he's now got past Campbell while seeing that replay. So this is how he got past Campbell then. And I reckon this is going to be a carbon copy of what has just happened to Schwenkler. Powers along the inside of the BMW M4. Stays there without the slipstream. In fact, no. Got in front more of the M4 than he did the Acura, and then just up the inside. So yeah, Copeland. 2 great moves out. Two just proper racing overtakes. Yep, down to 1.7 between McLaughlin and Copeland. So Copeland, over the last lap, he took 0.6 of a second out of him. Did Copeland. So it's going to be an interesting fight to see what these guys do as well. 16 minutes gone in this race, and Campbell and Schwenkler back on each other. But Campbell's not let Copeland go at the moment. We've got Wells, who's within 0.6 of Leonard. We've got Davenport within 9/10 of McDade. So there's battles in all the categories at the moment. Gilmet and Meismer, the only 2 that are separated by a couple of seconds in their category. But let's not forget what happened to Gilmet last week. He had a moment with the car and had allowed Meismer to get through. This is Martin Wallace on the back of John Hicks for 6th and 6th in both their respective categories. And Martin Wallace looking up the inside after that drama he had earlier in the race, and that's a lovely move at Canada Corner there on the Lamborghini. It's not done yet though. Lamborghini going to try and come back at him at turn 13. No, he's not. As Carney into the pit lane. That seems an early pit stop, but he's in nonetheless. So Ian Carney into the pits. Masters leads here, and that for Carney seems a little bit early, but he'll know what he's doing. He'll know exactly what he's doing at the minute. Nolan Uke's back out on the circuit, we can say as well. And it is only Salada and Calvi that haven't returned to the circuit at the moment. And so everybody else has returned to the track. That is great to see. We hate to see drivers not being able to finish the race. And this is the fight down for 4th place. I say 4th place in class. It is for 4th place in class if you're Brandon Leonard, Dustin Wells and Billy Hull. But if you're Chandler Baker, this is just good racing to have while on the circuit with them open category cars. Chandler Baker's 4th place in the Ben category, some 13 seconds ahead of Hicks and 6 seconds behind Davenport, but the 3 behind him are all battling for that 4th place. And Dustin Wells, not to forget, dropped a load of places earlier as he was off at the carousel, so he's come back pretty well at the moment. And this is a great scrap between these. Let's not forget, there's no points on the table for passing and beating the other category cars, but it's always nice to go wheel to wheel, and it's just that giving you that bit more experience, having that bit more of a fight with another driver that you may not race week in, week out, especially if your category changes going into the next season. But yeah, at the moment it's all looking pretty good for everybody so far. And I have to say, that Acura doesn't look as strong around this circuit. I thought the Acura would have been a little bit better. We know how slow it is down the straights, but Chandler Baker a little bit wide through Canada Corner. And that's allowed then Baker to have a look up the inside, outside for turn 13. Oh, that's a bit of a moment. Did he just go on the grass a little bit? Is that going to allow Wells side by side? It's allowed Wells through, and it's allowed Billy Hull through as well. So 2 for the price of 1 there. The Acura made the mistake And now Baker makes a mistake dipping onto the grass, but he comes into pit lane, so it's not going to matter too much for him. Into the pits he comes, as is Davenport. So there's 2 from the Pro class, the Ben class, sorry, in the pit lane. Just looking at the Pro class, Campbell is sticking with Copeland, but has dropped Schwenkler. So Schwenkler struggling in this race at the moment. Look how much he's dropped off the back. They're also still closing in slightly on that of McLaughlin, as they're also gaining on a spot of traffic now. Hicks, Baker and Davenport in the pits in the Ben category, and Carney jumps them 3 with that undercut. This is McLaughlin to Copeland. So McLaughlin gained 0.6 and half a second. He only lost a 10th last lap. So keep our eyes on this gap and see what happens between the front 2 in terms of the times coming down, especially now that traffic is starting to pave the way. He's gone a little wide there through the kinkers, McLaughlin. Not going to hurt him too much. He didn't have to fight it too hard to get back onto the circuit. But still, there's Manning with Meismer. This is second place in the Pro Ben versus the leader of the open category. Down to turn 5. That McLaren should just be a little bit better in a straight line than the Porsche. So not down to turn 5. That's down to Canada corner. Apologies. Meismer here got ahead of Manning, and he's now just trying to stay ahead, just trying to manage that gap and manage what he's doing. You have to say he's doing a fantastic job. They've got, I believe that's Kelly just behind these 2. So they've got a couple of cars just behind them. That's not Leonard, sorry, in the Acura. That's a different Acura from the Open class. That is Masters, who's a little further. Sorry, in the Ben class. No, it's not Tanner Masters. Sorry, in the Acura just behind. There we go, though. Manning now down towards turn 5. Let's see if that McLaren can just have some good straight line speed to gain on the car in front or not. In the slipstream as well, you'd imagine it would gain slightly on the Porsche. Leonard's into the pits now, pulls out to have a look at turn 5. Later on the brakes, get the apex. Ooh, just about. Oh, and then receives a little whack up the rear from that of Meismer there. So I'm going to assume that for Tyler Manning there, he was still somewhat on the brakes or slow through the corner, because that caught Meismer out a heck of a lot. This is now Kelly going at it with Meismer. Meismer's lost a lot of time to Tyler Manning as a result of that tap. So possible damage to the front of the Porsche. But if so, very, very little. We'll try and get a replay for you of that incident there. So we can see the slipstream and the fact that the McLaren just a little bit better in a straight line than the car in front. And as they come down, look, late on the brakes is Manning. Just keep an eye on the brake lights. Yeah, he didn't release the brake really till he was kind of a quarter of the way through the corner. That's why the speed difference was so much. And then Meismer just got caught out by that, tapped him up the rear, and that put him on the back foot. Looks like he's managing to pull away a bit from Kelly now. And he's managing to carry on with the rest of his race, which is great to see, because the last thing you'd want to see is Meismer have a problem, especially in that two-horse race in the Pro Ben category. He's into the pit lanes. Let's see if he repairs that damage. No other pit stop to mention, but Ken Copeland here, by the way, he's within half a second now of McLaughlin, so we're not seeing where that's came from, but Ken Copeland, and he's taken Schwenkler with him. So has the lap traffic played a part on McLaughlin here? 4 tenths last on lap 10, 6 tenths last lap, so he's really chipped away. You just wonder, has that lapped traffic just played its part in these cars being able to lap each other? But either way, Copeland putting McLaughlin under some pressure here in this race. And to say he qualified 8th overall, he's really had to fight through the traffic and has missed some incidents. Been fortunate at the likes of turn 5 to get past 3 of the cars that came together. He's just putting together a pretty nice race for himself in this one. We're over halfway distance, and seeing as we're over that halfway distance, I think it's time to mention our beneficiary spotlight for today. John Hicks is the beneficiary, and I believe, is John Hicks? out there this evening. There he is. We are on the circuit. There he is on the Lamborghini. So there we go. John Hicks, who lives in Port St. Lucie in Florida, I believe FL is. I'll allow Jonathan to just... Yeah, that is correct. There we go. He's a part of the US Marine Corps from 1994 to 2015. He was in the US Marine Corps. I was 2. Jeez. Okinawa, Japan, 7 years. Kosovo, Iraq, 3 times. And 2 Afghanistan is where he's obviously been deployed. He was born in a small town in eastern Michigan. A little fun fact about me, I was born on the side of a road in a police car. My place of birth is mile marker 24 near Columbiaville Road. According to my birth certificate, I became a ward of state at the age of 4 along with my 2 older brothers and sister due to the death of my parents and younger sister in a house fire. I was raised at the VFW National Home in Eaton Rapids, Michigan. College didn't work out too well for me after high school, so I decided to join the US Marine Corps in 1994 and did a full 20 years and loved almost every minute of it. I started playing Forza Horizon 5 in the summer of 2020. Obviously, the COVID years, 5 years ago, how times have changed in them 5 years. Shortly after, I was forced to medically retire, which was fun. But I was looking for more and found iRacing. Along the way, I found Operation Motorsport, and I'm glad I did. I cannot express enough gratitude to the guys here, as it also has helped me cope with no longer being able to drive, as my only driving is done behind the wheel in my sim rig. I'm married to a very beautiful wife who is very understanding when a new package arrives, and I hear, "What did you buy?" What did you buy now for your rig, and how much did you spend? Well, that is John Hicks then. That's brilliant at the end there. Hey, John. You've done your country proud there. 20 years of service. Thank you. Well, thank you for your service. Obviously, I'm not a part of. I'm not American. I'm here in the United Kingdom, but I've had family in the services over in the UK, and it's always a privilege to get to speak with these people and commentate on these people who have served their country and. Yeah, full respect. You have my utmost gratitude on that one. Well done for the 20 years of service, and continue to keep spending the money on upgrading your sim rig. Continue to improving your racing career, because that's what it's about, isn't it? That's upgrading your equipment, getting more improvements on the track. That's what it's about. John Hicks, currently running P6 overall on the track in the red Lamb. All I'd maybe say is maybe change the Lamborghini, but. I don't know about iRacing too much, but I'm not a big Lamborghini lover. Either way, Campbell has pitted from 3rd place in the Pro category. Copeland is now right up the rear end of that of McLawn. That is 0.3 of a second, and there's still traffic here, so I'm surprised McLawn didn't decide to jump into the pit lane with a bit of traffic in front. Little pits from 2nd place in the open category. And we've got Corny, who's on the back of Masters. Now I'm going to look at my timing screen. Masters jumped Corny in the pits. So, Masters jumped Carney in the pits, McDade's in the pits, Shelton's in the pits. So we've got, for the first time this season, Masters is ahead of Carney. He's got 18, 17 minutes left to hang on to that place by whatever means necessary, so that we can finally say, you've beat Ian Carney. Tanner Masters has not got long to do it. In comes a flood of people into the pits. The floodgates have opened and the people are driving into that pit lane, and this is going to be an interesting night to see what will happen here. As Copeland's just lost a bit of time to McLawn this lap. You just wonder if that lap traffic played a part in that, because Copeland's been taking chunks out. Masters and Carney going at it, beneficial. I think let's get a clip of Tanner Masters just for him to see that he's been on stream in the lead of the beneficiary class outright after pit stops. There he is with Carney on the back of him. Carney's missing the last race of the season. He told us last week he's not here. He's on family's round or family vacation or something like that, I think he said. So he misses the last round at Virginia. So he's got this one and the next one to say that he won every race he took part in this season. But he's got that pink Acura of Tanner Masters, who's been hunting him down all season, and now finally has got him for the pit stop. Tanner Masters was only 0.4 of a second quicker in the pits. It wasn't a massive difference there. McLawn into the pits. Copeland stays out on the track. Now this is going to be interesting to see what traffic Copeland may find in this in this lap that Copeland's into the pit lane. Schwenkler's in as well. Schwenkler's just not really at the races here. Gilmet in, Manning is into the pits as well. And here we go then. The pit stops are coming thick and fast. Ian Kelly into the pits as well. Just looking on the timing screen, Ken Copeland yet to pit. Kyle Shelton, no, sorry, not Kyle Shelton, Dan Fendick yet to pit. And that is everybody. So only 2 drivers yet to pit. This is the closest fight on the circuit at the moment. Tanner Masters actually got a bit of a gap between him and Ian Carney now. So he's got some pace. The Acura starting to maybe come alive in the back half of this race. 15 minutes left on the clock. Tanner Masters will be counting every second of that 15 minutes down, I reckon. Here's Campbell. He's past that of Schwenkler then. And McLaughlin out of the pits. And just looking at the pit stops, McLaughlin was some 3.5 seconds quicker in the pits than Rodney Campbell. So that has extended that gap there from McLaughlin to Campbell. Now we know Copeland actually, he's done a lot of races this season where he's gone a bit lighter, gone a bit more safer on his fuel, and a safe fuel to go the long overcut. They're not necessarily putting fuel in the car at the end as much. So is that what Copeland has done again? If it is, this is going to be an interesting one. Meismer's into the pit lane, so we think that may be an issue. He's already into the pits. So Meismer here then. Let's have a look at what has happened. Down into turn 1. That's a big Ford Mustang on the back of him. You dread what is coming here into 1. Oh no, the rear's just gone light all on its own and bang into the wall hard. Front bumper off. I'm not a big fan of the damage physics on iRacing. That's one thing I will say. Body parts just drop off as if they are no longer attached. Copeland in. I assume I'm going to. This is for Jonathan, because ladies and gentlemen, I'm still learning iRacing. That yellow cone, I assume, is the pit entry line for where the speed limit needs to be on. Right, so that's the pit. I thought he came in a little quick there, but the yellow cone identifies pit entry. So just Dan Fendick left to pit, but this is McLaughlin. Right, I'm going to keep an eye on the timing screen. We're going to keep an eye on McLaughlin on screen. Copeland is yet to be stationary in his box. He's stopped now. 1, 2, 3 seconds ticked by. Copeland's coming up to the final corner. 14.9 was McLaughlin's pit stop. Copeland still in the pits. He's just over 10 seconds stationary now. Dropped. He gained 1.5 seconds, but Copeland here, as he nailed his outlap, there's a bit of traffic in front. There's Copeland. There's McLaughlin up and over the brow of the hill. And Ken Copeland, king of the strategies here at Road America, has jumped McLaughlin by some 3.5 seconds in the pit lane, and by going that lap longer, Ken Copeland, what a strategy from the young man. Absolutely fantastic from him. That is brilliant to see from Ken Copeland. He was absolutely... We didn't even think he was in this race at the start of it down in P8. He's now sat in P1 and is absolutely charging at the moment. He's got some traffic, but that's not going to matter to him because hopefully they'll move straight out the way. We look back down at that Ben category. Look, Davenport on the back of Baker and still Carney on the back of Masters. And you've only got 13 minutes left to go. That, I believe, is Fendick, who comes into the pit lane from P5 in the open category. This is then that Baker and Davenport fight. Baker in the push. Oh, you can't come back now. And he's not going to come back now. Followed him across. Can't come back. And Chandler Baker, Richard Davenport. Baker late on the brakes. Misses the apex of the corner. And that's just forced the BMW to just slow down of Davenport a little bit. Now Davenport through 2 has a look. Into 3. Going for the up and under. Not close enough. But he has got a bit of momentum out the corner compared to that of Baker here. So Davenport in that BMW. They've got Hicks, who's nowhere near them at the moment. He's 1 minute 22 behind, I believe that is. The BMW versus Porsche down towards turn 5. BMW getting alongside the Porsche now. Half a car length, full car length, late on the brakes into turn 5. But Davenport's gone deep and has ruined it all for himself there. He had the chance to go around the outside. Pushed too hard, went a little deep. He's got to do all that hard work again. What a shame there, because that was turning out to be a great fight. So for Davenport, he'll have to rebuild what he's just the work he's just done. That's I believe that's Billy Hull just behind them in the Ford Mustang. Not in this category, Not really in a fight with anybody. 8 seconds off the back of Wells, who's back up to P4, by the way, for Wells. Great. Give him a shout out for that one. He's 12 seconds off the back of Shelton, but he was off the track at one stage. This, though, is probably, for you viewers, going to be the most fascinating fight. It is for me of this race, now that Ken Copeland's jumped McLawn. Tanner Masters has been chasing Ian Carney all season and has been the bridesmaid, I said last week, all season. But he's now going to try and become the bride here at Road America. And Ian Carney has just got to try and play the master game, but he just hasn't got close enough at the moment. And Tanner Masters now, the one thing Tanner Masters doesn't need to do is panic. You're in the lead of this race. It's in your control with what you do. You've got to force Carney to make a great overtake as Carney really closes in on the brakes there in towards turn 3. Very wide though, just would have clipped the grass a little bit. And that may have gave him a bit of an off track, but he's coming down the straight in the slipstream of the Acura. Pulled to the inside. Oh, he's showing the nose. Tanner Masters doesn't react to it. He doesn't blink as he got shown the nose there from Ian Carney. And this is the fight I think that we've wanted to see in the beneficiary class all season. Carney's just been outstanding all year round, all season round. He's been a cut above the rest in the Ben category. He was up there in the overall standings last week at Watkins Glen. Now at Road America, they're going at it here once more. Davenport's back on the rear of Baker. That's a 10th and a half separating them two. This is looking back though from Tanner Masters. Getting closer through the carousel. That Porsche just carrying a bit more momentum through the middle part of the carousel. Masters, you're not really going to overtake at the carousel. You're kind of setting up through the kink in towards Canada Corner. This is now where that work through the carousel and the kink down towards Canada Corner. Can Carney get close enough? He's not close enough. Loses out actually through the kink and closes again under the braking. Oh, Masters just dropping a wheel in the gravel. Carney's right there. Can smell the fumes of the Acura. And is looking to amount even more pressure. 8.5 minutes. As I believe Masters already dropped a wheel over onto the gravel trap. And this is going to give Carney a bit of a run. He just can't seem to get the momentum though, can Carney at the moment. He cannot seem to get momentum, and the start line's wide enough for two of you. And that's it. And he's had a look on the brakes now. They both go. And is this Tanner Masters just starting to come under pressure here? That in front, I believe, is that Hicks, I believe, in front it is, who was already pulled to one side, I think, to let the leaders go. And Masters was like, nobody, keep going, because I need that slipstream from your Lamborghini. Punch a hole in the air so that I can pull away from this Porsche. And for Tanner Masters, he'd love to get up past this Lamborghini at this section of corners, because then that'd really help him put some daylight. And I thought something was happening there, but it was just Hicks going deep to go off and let the two leaders go. He wants nothing to do with being the guy that ruins this fight. Into the last 6.5 minutes now. Ken Copeland leads this race, but this is the fight for the overall lead. All has got past Wells, so Wells has lost out for P4 in the open category, but this is the fight for the lead of Pro Ben. Carney has won every race in that Ben, sorry, not in Pro Ben, in just the Ben category. Carney has won every race in the Ben category so far, and Tanner Masters will be looking to take the race win away from him here. Obviously, Carney here this week and in Canada next week, but then the week after he misses out at Virginia for the final race of the season. He's probably already got the championship sewn up by then. Carney on the brakes, turning in. He's just a bit better. Oh, the Acura again in the gravel. Just don't really know the need for the windscreen wipers, but they came on anyway. And I'm just wondering now, and we've just seen it in these last couple of laps, that Masters just starting to maybe push a little too much as Carney nearly drops a wheel off into the grass there. Just wondering if Masters just starting to push a little too hard. You've got this and then the battle for 4th and 5th between Baker and Davenport. The closest two fights on the circuit. This is for the lead in... Oh, who's that in the pit lane there? That is Brandon Mateo. Brandon Leonard we've lost from this race as well. And Greg Meismer, which no surprise, we saw the big hit into the wall. And this is back down with Davenport and Baker. Billy all on the back of them, not for position, just in the category, in the opposite category. Schwenkler's trying to make... no, sorry, that's Schwenkler close to a different car. He's not nowhere near Campbell. Schwenkler's had no pace here today. Not being at the races with the front runners. And here we go. Davenport pulls out now. Can't get it done. Got to try and set him up somewhere. Looks for the run down into turn 2. And now into turn 3. Oh, and that's Baker who's just opened the invitation. And Billy Hall and Davenport will take that because Davenport has... Baker, sorry, he's just gone so deep. No, Tanner Masters is off! He's off! Just before the carousel, Tanner Masters had a chance and we said it was all in his grasp and all within his reach. He was the one who had to make the mistake and he has made the mistake. This is what happened. Coming down into the left-hand bend of turn number 8. He's gone deep on his own in the gravel, on the grass, and Kearney is not going to get an easier overtake around the outside, just on entry into the carousel. Tanner Masters has got work to do now. He'll be kicking himself. And he just started to drop wheels off the circuit and just drop a few in the gravel here and there. And you could just see that he was overdriving that car ever so slightly. And there, that goes to show it. That he has just gone too much. And with 4 minutes to go, he'll be absolutely devastated that he's done that. Still in this race, though, there's still time to come back. This is Schwenkler and Gilmet. This is for position. So Schwenkler dropped behind Gilmet. Not for long, he's up the inside at turn 5. Lovely move from the Acura. The Acura pulled along the Ford on a really long straight where the Ford is so powerful and the Acura isn't. That's mind-boggling that the Acura's been able to do that. But Schwenkler moves up another position. Overall, means nothing for the class at the moment, but he's just not been at the races today in this race. And what a shame. Baker's in the pits, so maybe out of fuel, maybe a spot of damage on the car. He's had another off-track. This is what happened. Let's see. Is it a spot of damage? This is the, yeah, we saw this, didn't we, live? So this is how he, something went wrong and he just went straight on. The car just did not turn in whatsoever. And that is how Davenport got up through the inside and into P3. Was that a drive-through he's just done? He drove in and out the pits. So he's just done a drive-through. That was a car off on the inside of the final corner there. That is Tyler Reid, who was fighting in the top half of the field in that open category. We'll try and get the replay of that one. Jonathan's been busy tonight, so in the chat, let's get a round of applause for Jonathan, because he's been super busy with his replays tonight. Tyler Reid then comes through 13 into 14. That's a bit of a wiggle. That is a strange moment for the Mustang. Keeps it out the wall, but seems to have a wiggle through under braking in towards the final corner, and then it seemed to just wiggle through the first half and round it went. He kept it out the wall, but look at this, man. 3.7 seconds in the lead. Started 8th overall, passed a couple of cars at the start due to an incident, managed to get past Schwenkler, got past Campbell, hunted down McLaren just as McLaren pitted, and then 2.5 seconds gained in the pits, plus that monstrous outlap. And Copeland here. What a strategy it was from him. Absolutely perfect from him in this race. And he did not qualify well at all. He didn't look like he had the pace in qualifying. And I don't think this is going to be the final lap. I think we're going to come round to start one more. This is the penultimate lap of the race. There's a minute and a half left and he's halfway through the carousel. But what a drive from this man. What a strategy, what a drive. Masters is still within half a second, just under half a second now. So he's still fighting for this. He's still pushing hard. He wants this race win back. And he's going to have 2 laps to do it. They're pretty much down at turn 6 now. And he's going to have another lap after this. So I'll go back onto the time screen on my other monitor. Copeland, I'll let you know when the white flag will drop for Copeland. And Masters at the minute has just lost a bit of momentum this time now, but he is he is fighting. He is trying his hardest to get this back. Let's take a look at the last lap. Says here comes Copeland then to start the last lap of the race. Tanner Masters was 0.2 of a second quicker than Ian Carney and has got the lap he's on, and 1 to go as Ken Copeland, with 35 seconds left, starts the final lap of the race. The white flag flies here at Road America, and we are green for 1 more lap. But Tanner Masters is the battle to keep our eyes on with Carney. He's lost a bit more time out at the moment to Carney, although that'll help him as Carney drops a wheel on the gravel. And he's going to have 1 to go as they come across the line in a moment. And Masters, can he do it? There's a car off. That's a back marker. He stays off track and can rejoin now. That is sensible done, and he pulls into the pit lane. But Tanner Masters, 0.6 of a second as they come towards. They start their final lap of the race. Now he's got 1 to go to get that place done and finally take that win away from Kearney. But he made the mistake himself that put him in this position on the back foot. He gained a lot of time there through turn 1. Got the gap down to 3.5 tenths. Now into turn 3. Lost a bit of time there. So Tanner Masters, he'll be in that slipstream, so he'll be ever closing down this straight slightly. This is going to be an interesting bit here. Something's happened to Gilmet, I believe. We'll try and get a clip of that. Well, maybe not actually, because I bet Copeland he's getting close to the checkered flag. And at the moment, Masters just cannot get close enough to Carney. In towards turn 7, now down towards turn 8, where it all went disastrously wrong. Starting to close up once again under the braking. Masters here is really trying to... Got to get a run now through the carousel and through the kink. But Ken Copeland, king of the strategy today, he's going to take the checkered once again here in the pro category. Copeland, your race winner overall and in pro. McLaughlin second place. Back to the Masters and the Carney fight in that slipstream down towards Canada Corner. It's as close as he's going to be. He pulls out to have a look now in the Acura. They're side by side into Canada Corner. Here comes Masters. He's got the move done and he's up the inside. Gets it parked on the apex. Carney trying to come back at him in towards turn 13, the penultimate corner. They stay side by side, and I think now Tanner Masters get it right for the final turn. He does indeed, and Tanner Masters, I assume there will be a flash of the lights and a huge celebration because Tanner Masters is going to win in the beneficiary category. That is a fantastic drive from the young man. Well done to him and to Carney second place. We've got Tyler Manning and Little first and second in the open category. Campbell P3 in the pro to round out the podium. McDade P3 and Ben to round out the podium there, and Shelton P3 in the podium of the open class. Oh, what a fight, round 7. And Carney will no longer be 100% in the races he's done this season. That was spectacular. Masters maybe thought he threw it away. I thought he threw it away by going deep, but he hung in there and fought hard to come back at the end of the race. And that was fantastic. And we're going to try and get the replay at the end there for you, but that was absolutely brilliant. All the way out the carousel, through the kink, and look at the momentum, the slingshot he kind of got out the kink. He just caught him as if he'd hit a nitrous button on that Acura, and then hard on the brakes. He had to fully send it and fully commit up the inside. Absolute precision. That was fantastic from Tanner Masters there, who's been chasing Carney down all season, and that was brilliant. He's done the work, done the hard graft, and he's put it all together. I'm not surprised. A few celebratory donuts. We'll bring you the full classification when we get it. But what a race. Ken Copeland as well. A master strategist. What a drive from Ken Copeland. What a strategy that was from him. Gene McClawn was P2. Rodney Campbell P3. Robert Schwenkler P4. The winner of the Open category, Tyler Manning, was P5 overall. Gene Kelly P6. Second place in Open for Jacob Little. P1. And we can say it, P1. Tanner Masters in the Ben category. He's P8 overall from Ian Carney. Second place in that. Tyler Gilmet will win the Pro Ben category. He was P10 overall. Peter McDade rounded out the podium P11. Kyle Shelton P12. Martin Wallace from Billy Hall, Richard Davenport, Dustin Wells, Charles Boschel, Chandler Baker, Rui Farina and Dan Fendick P20. John Hicks, Brandon Matteo, Nolan Uke, Tyler Reid, Christopher Puglice, Greg Meismer, Brendan Leonard, Anthony Calvi and John Salada. Your final classification. 29th place. We have got a few guys in the waiting room. We'll speak to Tyler Gilmet first. I think we'll bring Tyler in for a quick chat. Tyler, another race win in the Pro Ben category. Your rival in that one of Greg Meismer had a few issues out there, just couldn't stick with you today. A great race from yourself.
Yeah, it was a good race, even though I decided to celebrate a lap early. I feel very silly right now.
Just talk us through it a little bit, because it looked like you had some good pace in that Ford Mustang. You was able to stick with the front runners for a little bit, and then they kind of just fell away. But you ran great pace apart from that.
Yeah, I might have been able to stick with them a little bit more, but I decided just to stick behind Gene in the beginning and save fuel, because I knew this track is very, very thirsty. So, I stuck with Gene, lost a little pace to the leaders. And my fight really was with Greg, so I just needed to, do what I did and keep things clean.
Talk us through the lap early celebrations. What did you do?
I thought I had seen the white flag on 2 to go. So when we came to the line for the white flag, I thought it was the checker and just kept cruising around and decided to go ahead and celebrate a little early. I got lucky that Greg wasn't able to finish tonight's race and give up the position, but, it's unfortunate for Greg. Hopefully, I think we're out next 2 weeks, so we'll be back, the two of us, at the final round.
Indeed, so it probably no Pro Bens on the grid, so that'll be a shame, but we'll see it back at Virginia. Speaking of Virginia then, with 2 weeks to go, what's your thoughts on it? What can you do around there? Do you think the Ford Mustang will be a good suit?
Yeah, I think if I take what I learned tonight at Road America here into VIR, I think the Mustang is going to do really well there. I think we'll put on a good battle. I think the championship's over, so we'll just go in and try and put on a good fight for you guys.
And finally, Tyler, anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, got to give a shout out to you guys for coming out every week and supporting us. Operation Motorsport for everything that they do. Trophy AI, Michelin, CrowdStrike, and my boys over at Archangel Motorsports, who I'll be joining out in Sonoma next week.
Oh, lovely. That for the American GTs?
It is.
Oh, beautiful. I'll be watching on YouTube, so enjoy the weekend there, and we'll see you back here for the final race of the season.
All right, thanks, guys. See you.
Tyler Gilmet there, your race winner in the Pro Ben category. Let's bring in Ian Carney, Ian, we spoke last week. Obviously, this one and next week is your final race of the season. Obviously, you can't make the Virginia race, but that was probably the toughest race of the season that you had.
Yeah, no doubt. I didn't have a whole lot of time to practice this week, so I came in a little underprepared. And I guess I had to lift because my front left tire was 100 Celsius, and I was like kind of scared of the grip, and I just wanted to make it to the line, so I had to lift in the kink. And then I didn't think Tanner would come alongside, but he did, and so that's kind of how it all happened.
That explains the slingshot that he got through the kink onto you down in towards Canada Corner. Did you think your race was possibly won when he'd made the mistake a little early? Because it looked like he'd started to make mistakes with you putting him under pressure.
Yeah, I know Tanner well, and I know he wasn't done, but I know that if I could keep a second and a half on him, that would be about it. But because I don't know that he has like the speed boost in him, but I know that he is consistent for the most part. And when he's on the front hand of it all, kind of pushing me for pressure, I know that he's consistent there. So I just needed to keep that distance, and I wasn't able to.
So was it just purely tires then towards the end that had just started to go or fall away from you?
Yeah, it was purely tires, and of course, like I I think the lack of practice played into it. The new lighting model has got a massive glare on the road, which a lot of the braking points here are just little white lines across the road, and so you can't see those a lot of the times, like just before the carousel. I don't know what turn that is, but couldn't see my braking point.
And it's a tricky track, isn't it, Road America? It's very technical in certain aspects of it. It looked like the Porsche was a pretty good car around here tonight. Did you feel that the Porsche, suited this track pretty well?
Yeah, I don't think the Porsche was negative in any way on this course. It was kind of average overall. Whereas like the Acura doesn't have a top end, but it's got good cornering speed. I think the Porsche is kind of overall average, but the problem I have, other than the tires being heated, that carousel turn, there's really no great way to take it, and I just kind of have to pray that my rear end doesn't slide out each turn, or each time I take it, and I think I was losing a lot there as well.
We go to the Canadian circuit next time out. Any thoughts for that one? Obviously, it'll be your final race of the season, so is there any thoughts for that one?
Well, I don't mean to change up my schedule or anything, but unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make that race. My mom's going to be in town until Wednesday next week, and of course, I have to prioritize that, and so unfortunately, this will be my last. Yeah, this is my season done, and I hope my results so far stand up to the test of time, and if not, may the best man win.
Well, Ian, it's been a pleasure to commentate on you all season. It's been a pleasure to watch you race all season. What a thrilling end to, I suppose, to your championship this season. Lastly, anybody you'd like to thank?
I'd like to thank you guys up in the booth for all season helping me out, and I'll be back next season for sure. Maybe in a different class. Who knows how that'll roll out? But yeah, I mean, I want to thank you guys, Operation Motorsports, for putting this all on and everything. I was able to actually go to Sebring this past weekend, meet Tiffany, the co-founder, and Jason, the COO. Amazing people, great hospitality, and I met another guy, Nolan, who's actually on the Acura GTP team. Amazing. And CrowdStrike, of course, Michelin, Trophy AI. I think I even found out that there's a coffee company that sponsors Opmo. I don't know the name of it, but yeah, everybody, thank you. It was amazing.
Well, Ian Kearney, for the final time this season, congratulations on what a championship it's been for you, and we'll see you in the future. Goodbye.
Thanks.
And I think it's only fitting that we get Tanner Masters in to finish off that Ben category. And last week I called him the bridesmaid, yet to be the bride, but Tanner Masters, you had me sort of rooting for you in that one. I was feeling it with you in the cockpit there, my friend. That was a heck of a race.
Yeah, I don't think my palms have been sweatier. That was something. Yeah, so we can cross the title, or we can I say we can cross the streak, at least for once this season. So yeah, it was a stressful one. It was a stressful race.
And it was a pretty quiet one for you in that first half. We saw that you was there or thereabouts, but it was really the pit stop that got you the jump over him.
Yeah, so yeah, we kind of had, we had about I think the ticker said, 1.4 to almost 2, give or take, seconds of a gap for a good chunk. And then after he had that initial spin, I was able to keep him about 3, but he closed that gap up when I went pits, and then came out and he was right on my bumper, and that's when it was game on. Yeah, the back half of the race was an absolute battle, all-out battle. So.
And he was putting you under some pressure there, because you could just see that a few mistakes, a little dipping of the wheels into the gravel. Talk us through the moment you had though when you went off track before the carousel. Did you think that was game over at that point?
Yeah, I did. So here's the problem with fighting Ian is Ian's faster than I am, pretty consistently faster. So I knew that if I could get big, like pull an Alonso and get big, right, make my car nice and wide, I can defend well. But if he gets around, it's game over. So when I dipped off into the gravel, I was pretty sure that, like, hey, we're gonna fight it, but there's not gonna be much of a chance to get back. But I proved myself wrong, and that's always a pleasant surprise.
Well, you just said that his tyres was overheating. He had to have a bigger lift through the kink. And we saw it on the stream. You got a heck of a run through the kink. And we didn't know at the time that it was his tyre that was getting too hot. You must have thought at that point, I've got to send it here, because this is my last chance to get this race win.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we talked about in the waiting room, me and Ian, is that once I saw it open, I was like, there's no going back. I'm going to get the car alongside as best I can, and if I have to late break this one, I'm going to late break it. But as long as I can do it cleanly, that's what we're going to go for today. But yeah.
Well, that's his season done, he was just telling us. So it kind of opens the door now to yourself and a couple of the other Ben drivers to maybe take a race win or maybe get on the top step of the podium a couple more times this season. Going forward into the next couple of races has got to fill you with a bit of confidence, hasn't it, tonight? P1, you know that Ian's not around for the next two. That kind of opens the door for you to maybe take a win or two.
Yeah, hopefully so. I mean, so we know we have the pace, which is great, and I'm a bit sad because I liked chasing Ian. That's something I look forward to weekly. Is I've got a target, I've got a goal. But with that being said, yeah, pretty excited. I got a lot of confidence out of this one, and I'm ready to finish up the rest of the season and hopefully get some more podiums.
Indeed. Finally, Tanner, anybody you'd like to thank tonight?
Yeah, Ian put on one heck of a show, and he really tested my patience and my fortitude today with the way he stayed on the bumper. So thanks to him. Thanks for the battle. So
Tanner Masters there then. Race winner this season in the Ben category. The only accurate to win a race as well this season, can we just point out. All season I've been rooting for one of them to get a race win. They haven't yet. Tanner Masters has done it tonight. Tanner, we'll see you next time.
see you next time. Thanks.
And we can get Tyler Manning in. We didn't get to speak to Tyler Manning last time out. We could speak with Tyler now. Tyler, race win for you today. Pretty good race for yourself as well.
Yeah, it was fantastic, man. There was a lot of mistakes. Too many mistakes at the beginning, but I'm fine, man.
You was in that fight with some of the pro drivers at the beginning. Obviously, turn 5, I think, was one of the mistakes you're referring to. Little deep at turn 5 on the opening lap. But you've now 2 weeks in a row sort of been at the front with the pro drivers, haven't you? Been mixing it with them.
Yeah, I tried to get my iRating up for the beginning of the season to be in the pro class, but that never happens. Life gets in the way, and yeah, the mistake at turn 5 was just me trying to copy can and save as much fuel as possible. But no practice along with that, and I took the risk.
In terms of your category, though, pretty good win. You finished a good chunk of time ahead of that of Jacob Little. Was pretty comfortable, wasn't it, in terms of the category that you was racing in today, because you didn't really come under pressure from Jacob too much.
No. That was a little smooth sailing towards the end, but no, these guys they're pretty fast when they get the practice in. So I don't expect this result to be consistent again, but it's always a great honor to get another win.
Well, we head to Canada next time out, your home track. What can we do around there?
It is going to be a guessing game, because last time I did it, it was a little interesting, to say, battling with the traffic, but I'll always continue to give special liveries out for every race I can, so you take a good look at that for next week, and hope that I don't crash it.
Well, special liveries, we'll keep our eyes out for your livery, I'm sure, next week. Tyler, finally, anybody you'd like to thank tonight?
I want to give out a big shout out to Operation Motorsports. They are the reason why I do this, to keep pursuing my career in graphic design. And to you guys, Apex, you guys are doing a fantastic job of broadcasting. You keep watching back and see the incredible work you do. Also to all the partners and sponsors for Operation Motorsports, CrowdStrike, Michelin, and Trophy AI are an amazing sponsors and partners for us. So thank you so much to them.
Tyler, congratulations. Race winner in the open category. We'll see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Tyler Manning there, your race winner. And we can speak now to the final driver in the interview waiting room, Mr. Strategist, Ken Copeland. P8 in qualifying, overall race winner.
Yeah, good evening, gents. How are y'all doing?
I'm very well. I was thoroughly enjoying that strategy you pulled just then.
Yeah, that's always a lot of fun. I get a reputation for always experimenting with fuel saving. I find you're far more consistent. It's always good to practice it. So it was a lot of fun kind of sitting back, trying to weave my way through traffic a little bit, but be patient and see what kind of ground I can make up.
maybe a little fortunate at turn 5 on the opening lap. We saw that the McLaren of Tyler Manning sort of made it interesting with the Porsches, and you managed to nab 3 places up through 5 and 6. Was you a little... Did you think, oh, this could go wrong at one moment?
Yeah, a little bit. I know that early on, I think in turn 2, if I'm not mistaken, I kind of tagged Martin Wallace from behind. It wasn't obviously on purpose, one of those things where I was kind of keeping an eye out left or right. So after that corner, got a fairly decent run, and it was just kind of like trying to position the car on the inside, because when you're on the inside, you have the smallest chance of somebody sliding into you and kind of ruining your race. So just holding that inside line, seeing what kind of run I could get, keep it planted and stay safe, just get a little lucky.
You managed to then get onto the back of Schwenkler and onto the back of the BMW, and that was then a different task, because you had to sort of creep onto the back of them, get past them, and you did pretty well, to be fair. Pretty much a carbon copy overtake down towards turn 5 up the inside, and 2 proper overtaking manoeuvres, really, wasn't it? Catch up, get alongside, and do the move.
Yeah, those guys both had pretty solid pace, and I noticed out in front, the leader wasn't really leaving us behind by any means, so it gave me the ability to just be a little patient. Did the same thing with Rob as I did with the BMW, kind of sit back, fuel save where I could, stay close, and then just wait for a mistake that would otherwise lose me time, and then when that happened, just kind of capitalize on it, move on to the next car in front.
It was then about chasing down the Porsche of McLaren, and you did so really well. You were starting to take at least half a second out of him per lap. The pit stop, though, is where it was done. 2.5 seconds, I think it was, in the pits that you managed to jump the Porsche by, and you came out with like a 4-second lead. That was just, like you say, fuel saving and an inch perfect.
Yeah, the pit stop went really, really well. I've done a bunch of Road America. Not my favorite track in the world, but not the worst either. So I kind of know most of my marks around here once the setup gets kind of figured out. Generally, I think the Porsche is okay here. Some people love it, some people don't. I honestly am probably not a great authority on it. I hate driving that thing. I know a lot of people were talking about it being pretty unstable in the kink, and I know I was catching the leader pretty hard going through there. So the AMG here is super planted. I was full throttle through the kink, didn't have any issues, didn't get super unstable. So I think ultimately I probably had the car advantage on that front. So the fuel saving, executed the pit stop well, just kind of played the cards right.
Talks about qualifying, because we saw you make a mistake in qualifying, just couldn't put a lap together, and starting 8th overall. It looked like you really struggled to get a lap together, but as you said, you don't really gel with this circuit.
Yeah, so last week I think I mentioned prep work. Put in the work, and then your reps will count. And this week I did not do that, so I popped in, and I think I got like 1 lap in the fixed set before we hit quali, and the fixed set felt awful. And it's not so much that it can't be driven, but it was the opposite of what I was expecting from the car. So I threw on a set, and it was extremely loose. So I set what I could, and then just focused on taking some time to kind of figure something out, stabilize it before the race. So yeah, that was just a lack of preparation, one might say.
Fantastic, brilliant. Race win once again, though. We head to Canada next week. Any thoughts on the circuit? What can you do around there?
Yes, I love Mosport. Mosport's amazing. I always enjoy the races there. It's a super small track, so you oftentimes get traffic. It's fairly tight. It's got some really, really amazing braking zones and transitions, so it's awesome to just race there in just about any car, so I'm looking forward to it.
Finally, Ken, anybody you'd like to thank tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, every week, Apex Racing TV does a wonderful job doing the broadcast, showing everybody off. Jonathan's in the background, obviously, doing the producing magic as he does. So thank you so much for the awesome broadcast every week. Operation Motorsport for all the good work they do, the sponsors that support them, the admins that put everything on, so CrowdStrike, Trophy AI, so on and so forth. VRS for our team sponsors. But ultimately, everybody that puts this show on, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy.
Enjoy indeed. Well, they can enjoy watching that one back and watching your master strategy at play. Ken Copeland, pro winner and overall race winner tonight. Ken, we'll see you next time.
Yeah, y'all have a good evening.
You too. And that is all we have time for. We've managed to get it to the past mark here on this week. We've got a bit more to talk about tonight, and some fantastic racing at Road America. I've got homework to do now. I've got to learn 2 brand new circuits that I've never seen or heard of before. So I've got homework to do for the final 2 races of the Operation Motorsport League Championship for round 8 and 9. We head to Canada for the next round of the season. It's going to be an absolutely brilliant race to see there. Ian Carney done for the season. He hopes mathematically the championship will be in the bag. Let's give a special thank you tonight as well to our producer in the background, Jonathan, who has brought us some fantastic action tonight and a lot of replays. He's had to cover a lot of stuff, so Jonathan, thank you very much. I've been Matthew Duffin though, and we will see you later in the week. Apex Racing bringing you a lot of broadcasts this week, so make sure you tune out for all of that comes live. Operation Motorsport though, we'll be back at the same time next week. See you then.